Welcome to the Rebel Business School. This is the live Q&A that links to session 2 that we had on Monday with the marvelous Katie Coombs, who joins us tonight. How lovely to see you. So, folks, we are focusing on sales. We are focusing on getting you guys unstuck. We are focused on helping you. For those of you that struggled with the homework, we will help you unpack that. There, I think, will be opportunities for people to get some live conversation with us this evening. So let's just see how we get on with the questions. Type LC in the chat if you think live coaching, if you'd like to get on camera at some point later on and have a conversation with Katie and I to see if we can help you figure out where you're going. Just stick that in the chat, and if we can support you guys, we will. So Q&A, let's dive in. First, I just lost my cursor. I'm having one of those nights tonight. Where's my cursor gone? There it is. Right, there we go. There we go.
I'd like to say I've got your back, but I'm not completely sure. I'm not good at Zoom, at tech. Right, okay. I'm prepped and ready.
Can you see the slides, or have you got this sort of weird presenter view? Can you give it?
No, we can see. Right? We can't see you cheating
I got
bits. No.
I need to know what comes next. You see, I'm of a certain age, and it helps. Great, Anna. Thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't do any dance moves for you this evening. I know that was the highlight for you for Monday. I could tell. So Q&A session, folks. We are in the game for Q&A. It's Q&A time. First, the small print. Let's read through the small print. Please help us co-create a safe space for everybody to share ideas, explore ideas, and figure out this thing called business. Whether it's your side hustle or your main hustle, it's really important to us that you guys feel safe, and that's something that we have to do together. And business is not a competition. There's enough business out there for everybody. And look, folks, we don't compare pineapples here because we're all starting from different places. And if you compare where you are to where someone else is, sometimes you can get yourself down quite quickly because it's like, well, they're much further ahead than me. It doesn't matter where you start, guys. We're all starting from different places. It doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. And that's what we really care about the most, is that you can figure out what your next experiment is. Business is not a binary process. You don't wake up tomorrow morning with a business and you didn't have one yesterday. There's lots of steps to go through. And many of the people that are on this call have never run a business before. Or if you have, you've never got the results that you wanted before. So we're still learning. So we need to give ourselves permission to keep learning. So it doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. A reminder that you don't have to do everything that we say. Sometimes you'll see from the questions, you're like, I don't even understand the question. Don't worry about that. You choose the bits that are relevant and useful for you and ignore the rest. And it's a refrigerator course, meaning you get out what you put in. If you don't put anything in, you'll get nothing out. The more that you put in, the more than you can take out, the more you'll get out of this thing. And at times, especially when I get excited, I talk too much, and you might get a bit overwhelmed with the quantity of information that we share on this course. Just remember to breathe. You have our permission to breathe deeply. You can mute us for a minute, especially me, and we can go again. Multitask at your peril. That's the fastest way that I get overwhelmed. And this is why I'm trying to read the YouTube and talk to you guys at the same time. So I'm multitasking, except I don't want you guys to multitask. I want you to focus on what you need to get out of these evening sessions or morning sessions if you're from the future. Hello to New Zealanders, people on that side of the world. Wherever you're watching this, whether you're live or you're watching us on YouTube later, hi. Or you're watching on YouTube right now, multitask at your peril. Stay focused. Get out of this what you really need. A quick note about MLM, multi-level marketing. This is not the course where we allow that stuff to happen as part of our intention to create the safest place that we can. Lots of people have had bad experience with that stuff. So we put MLM to one side. That's not for this course. And a reminder that this course is designed for and by people with neurodiversity. If you have any feedback for us, please email us at the info@Rebel Business School email address. We would love to hear from you how we can get better at delivering our content with neurodiversity in mind. If you don't get what you need from this course, you can have your money back. That's the guarantee that I give to you. And if anyone has paid money for this course, something has gone really wrong. Why? Because it's completely free. There is no upsells. It's totally free for you guys. The reason being that we've secured some fantastic supporters and sponsors from local councils across the UK. This particular course from Camden Council, Chorley Council, South Ribble, Brent Council, Bridgend in South Wales, and West Berkshire Council. So all of those councils have said, please support our residents, and we're okay with you guys opening it up to as many people as possible, because the bigger business community we can create, the more value it adds to everybody. So in particular, if you're from those areas, please type in the chat if you are, or say hi on the YouTube comments. We would love to hear from you. We've got more stuff actually specifically for people from those areas coming up later in the course. So in the Q&A, hi Julietta from Brent and Caroline from High Wycombe, good to see. I remember doing a course in High Wycombe. I can't remember the name of the cafe. Nice place. So how do we choose the questions? The questions that we're choosing are relevant to the Monday content. So we're focusing mostly on the sales related questions. So from the content that Katie shared on Monday, the homework and getting you guys unstuck and understanding how you can make sales. Secondly, we'll answer the questions that are of benefit to most people. So if we think there's some issue in there that's very specific to you, we may answer the question in a different way, because we don't want to switch off the whole of the internet because that's not really relevant for me. So we'll answer the questions that we think there's something in it that would add value to a higher percentage of the audience. And we're also prioritizing the people that have submitted the form on the email, but also knowing that for you guys that are watching live, there is an extra opportunity for you to interact with us. So you can submit your questions via the Q&A, as you guys have been doing brilliantly so far. So we'll capture those ones too, but we're going to start off with the questions from the form. And we've got a first question about daycare. So let's have a look at this little question. We had a question from someone that said, I want to open a daycare looking after children 0 to 5 years. Okay, quick side note, rather you than me. I remember those years. They're tough years. Not for me. I don't remember when I was that age, but I do remember when my small people were that age. How can I open my own daycare business with no money? So that's kind of tracking back to our previous session, but it's linked to Monday's session as well, because sales are the thing that's going to unlock that. But how do you take money in advance, and what other tactics can we use? Because this person does not want to run a business from their house, because they have 3 children of their own already running crazy in the house. Why would you want to put more in there? So there's a couple of things there. There's a thing about sales, which we'll get into. There's a thing about logistics. And then there's this issue about, opening a daycare business without any money. So let me stop my share for a second. Katie, anything come to mind when you read that question? What's your thought?
Yeah, first of all, similar to what you said, those are tough years. And I'm thinking back to when mine were that age, and the type of daycare and activities that were around. And I mean, thinking here, we have a saying here at Rebel, which is start small. Start from where you are with what you've got. I don't know this person's name, I'm afraid, but you don't want to do it at home, because that would be my first thought is can you, because there was plenty of breakfast clubs. We used to drop our kids off. So at 7:30, you drop them off at a house down the road that eat loads of sugary cereal. And then they would go to school with about 5 or 6 other kids. But that's not what you want to do, and I totally get that. But I was thinking about, first, a way to build trust, because all sales, first of all, are built on trust. And to get trust in your community would have a very simple stay and play with the mums when the kids are very young. So a stay and play, a craft and play, a read. I remember we used to go to one where we read along, and everyone had a digestive biscuit and half a banana at the end. And it really was the half a banana and digestive biscuit that everybody looked forward to the most. So, but what that did was build community, and the mums are, as you probably know, looking for, and the dads, because there were a few dads as well, looking for other people, other parents to hang out with. Because when you've got very young children, you tend to have conversations with very young children, which is, of course, great. But sometimes you need to have a chat with somebody who's an adult. So there's a community there. So you could build up some trust in your community by doing a very simple stay and play in a church hall or a community centre. And the thing, first of all, is to ask if you can use that space for free. And that's the first thing that I would do. I would go and see all the community centres nearby, at church halls, any community space. And my first question would be, it wouldn't be a question. I would, first of all, have a chat, build some rapport, work out if I'm speaking to the right person. and ask them if you could use their space for free to experiment with an idea you've got because you want to run a stay and play, and maybe offer some of your services in return. So you could also barter to maybe volunteer to help in that space, especially if it is a community or a worship space. If there's something you can do for the community to barter, and see if you can get that room for free, or for at least for a trial time for free. And at that point, then you need to tell everybody. I mean, tell everybody, tell your friends to tell everybody, and to get as many people there as possible. And do some craft, do some reading, do some community building, and get people to trust you in your community. And this will start that business, though it's not exactly a daycare business yet, but it could be the beginning of it.
I love that, Katie. And yeah, this principle, like people used to say, oh, you know, those business courses that you do, what do you say to people? And I'm like, wow, this is like a 10-week course. I can't sum it up in one sentence. But if I was to sum it up in one sentence, it would be start small, make the best of the resources that you have, and choose the thing that you love the most. And then the final part of that is, you know, the angle on it that makes sense in terms of the resources, the people, the folk that you have around you that can help you get started. So, you know, for those of you that are going, I want to launch my, like, I think this was Giulietta, actually. I've got a funny feeling it was Giulietta. So Giulietta saying, I want to launch a daycare business. You don't necessarily go from 0 to I've got a daycare business in one step. So the message here from Katie, and I love this, which is, you know, let's start small with, you know, the kind of the after school, the after nursery bit. Use the space for free because you're adding a value. Just pay me a little bit of money and I'll look after your kids for that bit, rather than, you know, trying to set up a whole thing from scratch without spending any money at all. So the principles are, yes, absolutely, get the space for free. Yes, absolutely, get people to pay in advance. How do you do that? Well, maybe with a small discount, or with a book button. It's like I'm booking the session and I have to pay when I book. So we can show you how to do that when we come onto the website session. So you absolutely can start small. You absolutely can do it without having to spend any money. But sometimes we've got to dial back our plans and do it as a step by step. If we can't get to the daycare business we want in one go because we haven't got any cash, let's dial it back and deliver a service that solves a problem for the parents in your community. That's the way to start, isn't it? So I'm identifying what the problem is, where the problem is, and start chatting to people and ask a question. Hey, can I borrow this space later? Hey, would you pay me £5 per child if I ran a session after this end, you know?
And I mean, in those places, there's always stuff going on. So if you think there's, I mean, the stuff that I went to with, oh God, I can't remember now. Rhythm and Rhyme was one of them. There was a bouncing ball one, another one. And then all the parents are around, and that's when you walk in and have a chat with them and tell them about what you want to do. And the difference here is this wouldn't be a daycare. I think when you first start, it'd have to be the parents stay too, because there are rules and regulations, and you do have to register. I'm not sure of the detail, but I do know you have to register if you are going to look after children without their parents there. So first of all, it's the parents stay too, but you are giving respite to the parents and a little bit of a little bit of time, because you can also arrange coffee, you can do all sorts of things, but they're in the same room as their children. So you don't have to worry about those, the quality, was it CQs? I forgot what it is. Anyway, whoever, inspects you for those things.
Yeah. It's the Ofsted CQCs.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll find out what that is. So we'll stick it in the chat to make sure that you're not breaking any rules. But you're right. And again, this comes back to starting small. Okay, well, I need a certificate before I can do that. I need to be registered before I can do that. Well, let's start with friends and family and the next door neighbors first, and they can donate money to you. So it sort of dials back the sales relationship a little bit, just to help you test an idea and get paid for it at the same time. And that's what this is all about. It's dialing back the idea to get yourself out of blocks. So good stuff.
Nice. Yep.
Next, should we do the next one?
Yeah, I'm scrolling. Okay.
I've lost my cursor again. Right, I'll stick it on the screen for everybody so they can see. There we go. We'll share this one. So we had quite a long paragraph from from somebody. We'll check in on that in a second. And they said they'd encountered, so it's quite a lot in this. Let's unpack this. I encountered with aggressive people. I'm not getting proper clients. So meantime, I'm posting on websites, on Instagram, and it's not as I should be disciplined or clear. I am losing its vibes of business ideas due to lack of, I've just copied and pasted this, by the way, due to lack of space for professional standards. I tried EU, UK, US. I'm something in conflict of this with prices as my clients personally attacking, saying I'm their slave. Oh, there's so much in here. I'm against discounting myself or self-sabotaging. There may be a little self-sabotage here. We'll come on to that. However, the clients are personally attacking me. This business is a second passive income. I hope to choose to do good with my money. I have prepared everything with passion. What my reality is that men and women are using, I feel like I'm dying instead of growing. Wow, there's loads of stuff in there. I think there's something here about dealing with difficult people. There's something here about focus. And there's something here about starting small. I think those are the three themes. Like when you read that stuff, Katie, what goes through your mind?
It's difficult. I don't know the context, but I've got to be honest that there's quite a lot in there that I felt at some point during the time that I ran my own business, but it all seems to be in one paragraph.
Yeah, this is
at
week
times
one,
I've met, I've met difficult and dealt with difficult clients, aggressive clients, people asking for discounts constantly, late payment, disrespect, all those kind of things, but not all at once over maybe a 20-year career. So I think that I'm not sure what this person's business is, but for me, it would be maybe take a breath. Think about what you actually want in your life, and make some decisions where you can start from scratch. Maybe pause everything, move it to the side and think, okay, that's happened. What do I want? And what are some simple steps I can take to move forward?
Yeah.
Because we can get lost. There is so much in there, and there is negativity in the world, and some people are negative, but we can choose to not engage with those people and find the good people. And there's plenty of the good people. We're on here tonight, I think. There's plenty of good people around, and we just have to attract the good people. So, I mean, the race to the bottom with pricing as well. I mean, I'm not sure. There was a guy who was on the course in Chorley a few months ago when I did a course in Chorley. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was a website designer, and he advertised on Facebook, and he said he's had to stop because basically people can have a website for free now. So it's just, how can he compete with that? And it's a race to the bottom, and they've got to the bottom. So he couldn't sell his services. So what we did was work out what he was good at, which sectors or the types of person that would value somebody really assisting them in building that website, who needed their hand-holding, needed the input, and let's go directly to those people and solve their problems. So I'm not sure if that really fits, but I don't know what your take is, but mine is just to maybe take a breath, maybe take a pause for a while and think about what you really want to do.
Yeah, I like that. And I think, again, reading between the lines, and you just reminded me of this when you were telling the story of the website guy from Chorley, the countered with aggressive people, right? So there are people on social media who could start an argument in a vacuum, right? So it doesn't actually matter what you post. Sometimes you'll get folk just being contrary because it's almost like a hobby for some people, the stuff that they say to you on the thing, just be mindful that sometimes you don't read it in the tone of voice that they posted it. You read it in the tone of voice in your head. I remember getting an email. This first, maybe the second business I started, I got an email from somebody that I read really angrily, like as if the person that was writing it was really angry when they sent it, and I really interpreted it as aggression. I think that was actually pointing to a state of mind that I was in, and I really took it to heart. And actually, it was pretty good feedback. It was actually, they're kind of saying it might come across as aggressive, but maybe that wasn't the intention. Maybe they're just frustrated. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're really struggling too, because whenever there's cruelty, it comes from fear. Right. So they're typing some stuff, and you can choose how you react to that stuff. You can choose to ignore it. You can choose to let it go. You can choose to use it as feedback to say, I haven't quite found the right words or the right pictures or the right audience yet. So I need to adjust my approach and find something different to do. Don't do what I did, which was I read the email and then I stopped making sales for about 18 months because I just felt really wounded from it. And actually that was all in me. So our reactions to things don't come from the fingers of people, other people typing, they come from what's in us. So actually, like, I want to empower you guys to go, you stick, and this, the next thing is going to help you. You stick to the thing that excites you and you keep going until you find that audience that's right for you. And exactly as Katie said, if you need to take some time out, this is your business. You can do what the hell you want. You can take some time out. You know,
and there's that.
go
Sorry.
on. So you go
I was
ahead.
going to say, there's that saying, isn't it? We see things not as they are, but as we are. And I kind of like that. It depends what space we're in at the time. So it's a bit like that email that you're saying that you read and you decided they were having a go at you, but maybe that was just your mindset at the time that you read it in that way because you were
Yeah.
seeing the world through that lens.
It's so true.
So,
You know, I was full of fear because I was scared that I'd never done this before. So I'm putting this thing out there, and then somebody's come in with an angry email. And basically, like, the funny thing was, they were criticizing the fact that I was making money out of this website. They said I was profiting from dead musicians. It was a fan site for the 27 Club, right? Because I was into Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain and the Doors and so on, Jim Morrison. And I'm like, oh, you've really pressed, you know, on the wound that I was worried about. And actually it was just my fears. As soon as I let go of those fears, crack on, let's go. You know, so you know, I think there's something about us, I'm saying, you know, a lot tonight. There's something about us moving forward. There's something about us just kind of going, time to take a deep breath, time to take a pause, time to recognize that my reaction to these people that are being aggressive is within me, and I can choose not to do that. I can choose something else. Sometimes it's hard, and that's why taking a breath and a pause really helps. Thuna says, karma will get them. Levi, you're very welcome. And Lauren says, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to you both and to the Rebel community. You're all amazing. I have to jump to work. Thank you all. Let's go get this thing. I love that. Lauren's gone to work. That was such a nice comment. You can't go to work after that. So I think what we need, Katie, just to finish off this last question, what we need is for me to draw with my finger on the internet. That's what everyone's been waiting for this evening. Please type, yes, that sounds like a great idea in the chat if you think you would like to see me try and do a piece of art. Hopefully Peter and Hannah have got the wine again open tonight because you might need it for what's about to happen. You know what? It's a dry thing. Oh, well done. Very good. Is that gin or is that water? Okay, very good. Okay, so Sarah T with her daisies is here. Sarah W's here. Richard Santiago. Does anyone think that we should do some drawing? Okay. Teresa, you might need to click in the top right hand corner the view. Let's see if you can. Some of the Rebel team can help Teresa see. Maybe that's a good thing. That, who knows? Okay, so dots up for some drawing. So Sylvia and Lynn and Tracy and Anna and so on. Yeah, all right, let's do a bit of that. Right. So, oh, look at you with your thumbs up.
And now I've just worked out how to do that. I'm quite pleased myself.
Okay. So what I do know to be true is that
now?
the rebel team are going, oh no, what's he doing now? He's gone off piste again. Can you see a whiteboard?
What are you going to draw?
I've got no idea. Oh look, there's people that can draw. Like, wait a minute. Oh no, what's going on? Right, let's get rid of that. Post only. Right there. Phew, there we go. Right. Oh, there we go. Right, let's try again. Let's try again. Oh, you're a funny bunch, aren't you? Okay, let's try that again. New whiteboard. Right, can you still draw on that? Can anyone else draw on it? Why can you draw on it? You can draw on it?
I can draw on it. Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, everyone's having a go now.
Right, forget it. Right, in that case,
should we move on?
Let's move on. I'll come back to the thing in a second. What's really weird is that we've got all of the settings, like people can't draw on it, but that's not true, apparently. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's move on to trust, and you'll have to save your diagram for a minute, because apparently the people on Zoom can't be trusted. I don't get this kind of grief from YouTube, you know? Like the YouTubers are very well behaved, mostly. But
Okay.
yeah, let's move on to trust. So we got a question about trust. I really like this
Hmm.
question. This question plays into everybody's kind of situation, because without trust, it's really hard to make sales unless you've got a monopoly. So, for example, if you're a train company, for example, then it doesn't matter. Like, do I like the train company that runs the operation near me? Not particularly. Do I trust them? Definitely not. It seems to be very difficult to get from where I live to London for less than £100 and for the thing to run on time, right? But have I got a choice? No, they've got a monopoly. Like, it's the only train company that operates. But for most of us, we need to get our customers to know us and like us and trust us. I bet that's not the first time you'll hear us say that. So, question was, how to get people to trust you when you are new to this. Folks, please type the word trust in the chat. If you're on YouTube, whack it in the comments if you think it would be useful for us to answer this for you guys. Okay. Yeah, because this is the thing, isn't it? It's like, well, I want to make sales. I want to see if I can get a venue for free. I want to find someone to partner with. How do you get people to trust you, Katie? What goes through your head when when they talk about this
There's a
trust
few
thing?
things that come up about the trust thing. First of all, it was something you said to me years ago, which
What?
is the first person that has to trust you is yourself. So you have to trust yourself. I thought, oh gosh, you got me there. So I don't know what to do with that one. But yeah, and I really liked that one. It really made me think.
You sure I said that?
Um, you did, yeah.
That sounds
Had
wise.
you had a couple of wines or something?
Probably.
So yeah, your first person you have to trust is yourself, and you have to trust yourself to turn up for yourself, to value yourself. And it's not about putting yourself first necessarily or having those kind of debates. It's realizing that you actually have got the power to have this business. You are worthy of having this business. You're going to do it in an ethical, fair way, and you are allowed to charge money because we all have to earn a living. That's how it works in this world, the world that we live in. I mean, there are other alternative ways of living, but that's maybe a different Zoom call, not this one. And so the first person you have to trust is yourself, to turn up for yourself, and to realize you to value yourself, the whole you're worth it kind of vibe. And the next thing is the thing that I think if you're looking at a certain type of customer, then that customer needs to know who you are. So you need to be around that customer, and you need to show up where they are, and you need to listen to them, and you need to be genuinely interested in the customer, not pretending to be, not putting it on, not really caring, but actually interested. So you need to be where they are. I've got more of this coming on Monday in the second part of the sales thing. So be where your customers are. One of the things that I do is to go networking. And I think it's a great way to meet other business owners, to meet maybe people who you could sell to who maybe need what you've got. Maybe they've got a problem that you can solve. And be with them and listen to them and participate and give, not give everything away you've got, but give advice, give a smile, give encouragement, and be consistent. So if you're going to be at a networking event, be there every week or as much as you can. And don't make it about you necessarily, make it about them. So that's the first thing. Start with yourself, and then let's hang out with our customers and let's see how we can help them and understand them, first of all, in different ways. And then being consistent, being honest, being transparent. And when we make a mistake, and we will, just fessing up to it. Yeah, be honest, put it right, communicate well. And for me, that's how I've developed trust in when I've sold in the past and in the future and in the present. That's how I do it now.
And in the future too, I
In
bet.
the future, yeah, I'm in the
Which is,
future.
yeah, which is people from New Zealand are in the
That's
future.
the ones.
If you're watching now from New Zealand or on YouTube, tell us in the comments how the future is. If you're watching on Zoom, then it would be great to hear from you. So there's a couple of people saying that networking is tough. We're going to run a bonus session, which is a networking session with our group. So it's just the people that are doing the Rebel course. We're going to invite you to a networking session, and we're going to share with you some of the tactics that helps introverts and people that find those social situations awkward and difficult. We've got a way of thinking about networking and a way of doing networking, which flips it around. It's really empowering. So we'll do that for you. Or wasn't I supposed to say that, Alima? Sorry. Oh, thank you, Julia. Thank you for doing that. There's definitely not a networking session. Shh. I've been in trouble 3 times tonight already, and it's not even 9:15. Thank you for the future information. So I guess let me deal with my version of the trust thing. I've seen this in some of the language that people use in our support group when they're posting about their businesses, and I hear it all the time, where people are underplaying and downgrading coming from a place of almost like self-deprecation when they talk about their business. And I hear words like, I am hoping to launch my business. I want to start my company. I want to launch my product. I'm thinking of starting my business. I'm a struggling artist. I'm a struggling author. Like, guys, when I hear that stuff, it does not make me want to buy anything from you because it doesn't sound real. And I think you need to step up and own this. Like, if you want to be trusted by your partners, your potential business partners or potential customers or clients or people that you can do deals with to get free space, you've got to sound like it's real. And some of you go, yeah, but it's not real yet, though, is it? Well, it won't be until you own that identity. And who was the fella that said that thing about being the change you want to see? That entrepreneur, Gandhi, that was him. So Gandhi didn't say that. He said something that was he said something that was it was interpreted as that. So that
it is, yeah. It's the I am thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like
when you own it, you position yourself rather than let other people position you. He didn't say that either. But that's an advertising thing.
Yeah,
positioning. Yeah. So if you position yourself, people will see you as the way that you communicate and position yourself. If you don't say anything, they'll make up their own stuff about you.
Yeah,
based on their own lens in the world and what they're thinking and what they're going through.
I want to buy a product from someone who thinks that they're quite good at making food. I'm trying to launch my food business. I'm like, well, let me know when you do, and maybe I'll buy something for you. But until then, you just sound like you're trying to me, and you might be lucky. Someone might be nice, someone might be friendly, but the universe is a mirror, folks. If you're struggling to launch your business, you will get, it's like sowing seeds. You're sowing the seeds of struggle every time you say the words, I'm struggling to launch my business, or I'm hoping to be an author. You're saying to your customers, I'm hoping to be an author. Well, that means you're not an author yet, so I'm not ready to buy anything from you. But you are an author. Are you writing anything? Yes or no? Yes. The fact you haven't sold any books yet is irrelevant. You're an author right now. And I'm going to invite you guys to step up and own that space for yourself. Because customers, if you want them to trust you, you need to give a vibe of certainty. So what seeds are you sowing? Are you sowing certainty seeds, or are you sowing vague seeds? Or, I'm not sure if this is going to happen, but maybe it will one day. Like, you can't plant strawberry seeds and expect pineapples to grow. It's a bit of an obscure metaphor, but you know what I mean? It's like what you plant is what you're going to harvest later. So plant good quality seeds now, you'll get the fruit of your harvest, right? So let's find out if anyone's still watching. Is anyone still watching? Someone's talking about
is there anyone here? I thought it was just you and I chatting.
No, it's a gardening thing. Okay, very good. So should we answer another question?
Yes, please.
Actually, before we do, let me, that thing I was going to do some drawing.
Well, now yes, we're all very excited about that.
No, I'm not going to. I can't trust. I've lost trust now that people can't be trusted with a pen in this group. The naughty rebels.
I'm sure if you asked them not to,
yeah, right,
they wouldn't.
Yeah, right. So what I'm going to do, it's for those of you that remember a TV show in the UK called Blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier. So that person that was experiencing the aggression, let me talk you through what I would say to them and what I'm going to say to every single person on this call, because, we talked about the mini experiment startup model on the first session. Do you remember I was saying to you guys, right, what are you going to sell, who you're going to sell it to, and go and take some action? This is a fancy version of that. But actually, what I want to tell you about this is, when people are stuck with their business, I always come back to this because it helps to diagnose where they need to put their effort and attention next. So, right, so I'm going to talk you through it. We're just going to spend a couple of minutes on this, because what I'm giving you is, if you came to me in 6 months' time and you said, Simon, I'm really struggling with my business idea, I'm not getting the results that I want, these are the questions I'm going to ask you in 6 months' time. So let's share them with you now so that you can self-diagnose. Okay, so here's the process. We go, right, number one, the love heart around the outside. Number one, if you're struggling, if you're not getting the results that you want from your business, have you chosen something that you're passionate about? Is the thing that you're doing something that you go, I'm excited to do that? I haven't figured out how to make money out of it yet, but that's what I want to do with my time. Question one. Question two, now going to go into the circle with the A in it. What are you selling? What's the product or the service that you're going to start with? And this is exactly true. I've done this with people that have been in business for 20 years, when they're almost like trying to reboot and restart. Like, I'm kind of lost. I don't know which direction you go in. Well, pick a thing you love, choose one product or service, and then we get onto circle B. Stick it in front of an audience who you think are most likely to buy it. Because if you try and sell to everyone, you end up selling to nobody. So circle B is your best guess of who your target customer is, which Katie's going to do some more stuff with us on that on Monday night. The third circle, circle C, action to take a sale. Lots of people are stuck because they don't take enough action. They send one email every 3 months and go, my business isn't working. Well, don't send one email every 3 months. Send 30 by the end of the week. Fail fast, fail cheap. So what I'm sharing this with you here is, you can say, well, lots of people know what they want to sell and they've taken lots of action, but they try to sell to everybody. Or there's lots of people that go, I know what I want to sell. I even know who my customer is, but I'm too scared to put it out there. Well, there's even some people that are in circle C. They go, I've taken loads of action to sell everything to everybody, but I'm not getting the results. So the sweet spot here is clarity on the what, clarity on the who, and clarity on the action that you're going to take. And look, let me give you some confidence, guys. There are people with some very average business ideas that do this and make sales. So it's not necessarily about trying to find the perfect business idea or trying to fix the niche and figure out, yeah, this is my angle, this is how I'm going to get rich. It's about you choosing something that excites you, sticking it in front of an audience lots and lots of times quickly. And that's why I say fail fast, fail cheap. Don't fail slow and fail expensive. I tried that for you. I did that on your behalf. You don't need to do that. You can fail fast, fail cheap, which means take lots more action than you think you need to take. And I get it. Some of you are tentatively going, oh, I spoke to one person, that was a bit scary, so I need to go and have a lay down for a week, and then I'll speak to the next person. The more that we can do to take action, to tell people about your business, I'm not even talking about sales now. Like, sales come from it, the more people that you tell. It's a fact. But if you're muddled, if you're trying to tell them 10 business ideas at once, or you're trying to sell to all sorts of different people without just having a little bit of thought as to, well, maybe I could start with my family, my friends, my neighbors, the people I bump into at the bus stop and in the cafe. I just need to tell those people about my business first. Katie's going to help you figure out who your target audience is. We're going to come on to that. Some of you already know. But let's go and speak to more people. So that person who was experiencing aggression, I just got this vibe of he's trying lots of different markets, lots of different products, trying lots of different posts, chucking everything at the wall. Well, actually, we can just come back to this. This is like home for the business owner. This is about coming home and going, right, let me just take a deep breath. What am I selling? What's the product or service I want to start with? Who do I want to stick it in front of first? That was what the homework was all about on Monday. And then, what's that action going to be? Am I going to text them? Am I going to ring them? Am I going to do both? Am I going to send them an email? Am I just going to bump into strangers and go, I'm really excited. Can I tell you about my business idea? I just launched it yesterday. So can I just tell you about it? Because Katie said I had to tell somebody. So you're nearest, and please can I have a cappuccino with some extra chocolate sprinkles whilst I tell you about my business, and just start chatting to people. And that's all it is. And I get, folks, I know, especially for the neurodiverse, it's a little harder, and we might need to find different ways of doing it. And by the way, when I say speak to people, that you take from that what that means to you. I'm telling you what will get you the best results. But if you can't do that right now for whatever reason, Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you could do. Focus on, okay, maybe I can't speak to people right now because of my circumstances, but maybe I could send a text, or maybe I could send a voice note. Maybe I could make a video. Maybe I could call someone. Maybe I could get someone to do it for me. Lots of different ways to move forward. So this won't be the first time we talk about this, guys. We're going to talk about this many more times, I'm sure. But this is the diagnosis when I'm trying to figure out, where does this business owner need to focus? Have they picked something they love? Are they clear on one product? Are they trying to sell too much? Do they know who they're trying to reach? And what's the action that they're taking? You see, there. That was the thing that I was going to draw. And I feel like Jack will be really happy that I didn't draw from the Rebel team. And I'm kind of happy about that now too.
I'm glad you've shared that, because just listening to you there and you're going through it. I work with a lot of businesses who have been up and going for years, 5, 10 years. They may even have 10, 20 staff. And that is the only real business plan you need. You need to come back to that all the time, because we get lost in all sorts of marketing things, sales things, all sorts of things. And actually every business at some point, maybe quarterly or monthly, needs to go back. Hang on a second. Who am I selling to? Who is my target market? Yeah. Why do they need me? What problems am I solving? And we're going to do this on Monday. Exactly as you said. What is the sales process I've got here? What are we doing? We're just hoping because it's coming before, it's going to come in again. So yeah, I think it stands for startups, small businesses, even businesses that have been running quite successful businesses that have been running for quite a long time.
Yeah, I love that. So look, that's a good one. I think that this thing about focus, and that is a challenge, because also we're sort of going, well, I don't really want to focus because I'm a bit scared. Like, what if one doesn't work? I need to throw a few things out the wall. Come back to that thing that we said on week one: first this, then that. It all comes back to that. And you just reminded me, we're going through this process again of going, okay, let's focus. What actually is our lead product or service? Where do we put our energy next? So the more you get used to that, folks, the more, just let go of the idea that you need to have it all figured out first time round. You don't. In fact, if you do, I'm very suspicious. And I'm actually quite cross, because it took me years to realize that. So cool. Very good. Right. So let's go on to the next question, and then we're getting close to looking at the Q&A from this thing on the Zoom. And if you're watching on YouTube, guys, and you've got anything that you want to ask, you can post in the YouTube comments. We've got the Rebel team there. We'll see it. And I've also got it here. I'm doing this sort of multitasking thing, so I'll see your questions too. So let's have a look at the next question. I like this one. This is about the hobbies. So the question is, how do I turn my hobby into a money-making enterprise? How do I turn my hobby into a money-making enterprise? You've done that before, haven't you?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
When we were plating plant pots, that was one. Yeah. That was a hobby. That was something to do. Yeah, we did turn it into a money-making exercise.
There's something about the idea of the risk, I suppose, of like, here's the thing that I love doing. There are some people that go, I could get paid for it, but actually I don't want to kill my love of the thing. So my ex had a cake making business, and she went for a period of time where she was literally the queen of cupcakes. She spent hours and hours perfecting, like, folks, bakers, you'll know what I mean by this. When you put icing on a cake, right? She would spend hours making sure that the line of the icing was totally smooth and it had no divots in it. Like, to me, I'm like, oh, that looks like a nice cake. I wasn't her target customer, right? So, but she spent a lot of time doing that. She spent a lot of time baking and perfecting the right moisture, and it was like science. And then she found some customers locally. She was selling cupcakes, and by the way, they were like £5 or £6 per cupcake that she was selling them at. And then she went, well, that's quite a lot of work, £5 or £6. I was selling them in batches. And then she went, well, actually, I'll take less money per cupcake, but if I can sell 20 cupcakes to one of the local independent cafes, then I can start to up the margins, right? It kind of killed her love of baking for a while, for a number of reasons. One, she was spending a lot of time, and time was precious as a mum with young children. Number two, she was sending the kids to school and nursery covered in icing sugar. That was a bit weird. Number three, the kitchen looked like a Christmas scene. right? Because there was so much icing sugar on the walls, on the kids, on the floor. You could see like Santa's footprints on the kitchen, like there was so much icing sugar everywhere. And she was like, I'm exhausted and I've done my numbers and I made 11 quid, right? She's like, it doesn't make sense. And also, I'm not really enjoying it. I actually like baking for the pleasure of baking. And now that I'm trying to make money from it, it's making me feel a bit icky, and also not good for my waistline, as I was like the chief taster for about 3 weeks. And I'm like, I need to stop eating cakes. This is not good. So we went through all of that process, and I think we will talk a little more about, and we've mentioned funnels and things. We will talk about increasing transaction value. Katie touched on it on Monday, because the only way really to make that business profitable is to turn a £15 customer into a £150 customer. So you're not always baking individual batches of cakes, right? So the principle of that is the same for every single business. Interesting, the upsell and the cross-sell is often the difference between a sustainable business and not. But we'll talk about that some more in the sales bit next week. And I'm sure it will come up in the Q&A again. So let's get back to, this is not just about my cake eating habits. That's the principle of turning a hobby into business. That's something to bear in mind. If you're making money out of a hobby, how can you structure it in such a way that it doesn't kill your love of it? What's your experience of that, Katie?
Well, just listening to what you said about baking, and I know somebody who did end up having a baking business and having 2 shops, and then didn't want to do it anymore, because it's more or less the same as you're saying, that they were making money, but they lost their love of baking because it was a business, and with business, it's not all roses. There are things that you have to do that you don't want to do. So, but my point is, if you have got an idea for a business and a hobby, and you think that's a good place to start, and the other thing is, you're not going to gamble any money here. You're going to start for free or with very little money. Any money you're going to use, you're going to raise it by selling the stuff you no longer use or need. So try it on, give it a go. And if you don't like it, okay, fair enough. I've tried it. And you'll have experienced and learned so much by trying it, because you'll have tried to speak to, well, not tried, you'll have spoken to customers. I won't say tried. I'm scared of saying tried in front of you now. You'll have spoken to customers. You'll have taken action. You'll have experienced rejection, possibly, people saying no, possibly, those kind of things. And you'll learn so much from it. So if you think, oh, I might spoil my lovely hobby that I look forward to do on a Saturday morning every week, well, give it a go anyway. And then if it's spoiling it, simply stop.
I love that. And that's the comment that Anna's just put in the Zoom chat. I'm worried that I'm going to lose all of my passion for my hobby by monetizing it. But Katie is right. It's a good place to start. Now, here's the bit. It's what it's in your mind and in your heart to do next. Remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. In fact, the company that I've been working with today, I've been with a senior team of a massive company, like literally a massive company. And it was a similar conversation, that the thing that we think we need to do next might not be the thing, but we can't get to the stage after that until we've gone through that process. So it's that being, and it's interesting that, listening to people that have got giant jobs in giant companies, having the conversation of we need to be prepared to fail at something, because we can't see on the other side of that until we've gone through it. So there's a lovely quote by an author that I'm going to get wrong, but the principle of driving through the fog in your headlights, that's a little bit like running a business, starting a business, is that you can't really see further than 15, 20 meters ahead. But if you've got the headlights on the right setting, you can see far enough in front of you to get to where you're going safely. So that metaphor really is saying you can't see the whole road, folks. When you're starting and running a business, you cannot possibly see what's around the corner, but you can see far enough in front of you to slowly kind of figure out what your route is home, right? And you don't need to have it all figured out in one go. And to Anna's point, who knows? Maybe you'll love it, maybe you'll hate it, but once you've tried it, once you've run that experiment and given it a go, then you'll have the information. Then the universe will reveal the next step across the ravine. but you can't get there until you're there. So this comes back to that thing of start a business from where you're at, not where you wish you were at. I wish you had it all figured out too. I wish I had it all figured out. If only life would be so much easier. That's just not how it works. So, take a deep breath, back yourself, and know that you're way more capable than you realize. And all of these fears of what if this and what if that, I can't do this and I can't do that, all those fears can just fall away. The more action you take, the more confident you're going to get. And that's it.
I think that's right.
Beautiful.
Spot on.
Right. I think we've got one more on the form questions that were submitted, and then we're going to dive in. Not even 9 o'clock yet. That's brilliant. We've got plenty of time to have a look at the Q&A. Some great questions in the Q&A. We're going to start with the psychotherapist's question in a moment. Just before we do that, let's have a look at the last question. There we go. It's this one. How to get clients effectively. I mean, it's quite broad. It's not a huge amount of context. But what's your sense of how do you get clients effectively? I guess meaning that, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. How can I increase the chances that I'm going to get clients and customers from the action that I take? How do we do that?
Well, it is quite broad. It's, I suppose it's which type of client. So it's understanding what you're selling, because what you think you're selling, you may not actually be selling, if you like, or maybe that's not what people are buying. They're buying something else. And that kind of bends my head a little bit, even if I can't say it properly. So it's understanding what people want and what they need, and understanding their problems, understanding what the benefits, and this is actually Monday's content. I don't know if I'm giving it away now, but this is Monday stuff. This is understanding your product or service, looking at all the facts about it, the features of that product or service that you're selling, working out the benefits of each of those things, what they actually do for people, what are the outcomes of all those facts or features, whatever you want to call them, about your business, how long you've been doing it, what it's been made out of, how certified you are, all those kind of things. What does that mean to the customer? And then you've got these solutions for people. You've got to find the people who've got those problems that you've got the solution to. And then you've got to go and speak to them. Yes, I know. And that's the thing. You've got to go and find them. And you've got to go and speak to people. And I know that I mean, you've touched on it already. The talking to strangers bit is difficult. You've got to find a way to contact people and to have a conversation with another human being. And that's how all businesses start, with conversations, phone calls, messages, a chat at the bus stop, stood behind somebody in a coffee queue. This is how things start, from something very, very simple, not full on pitches, not full buy my stuff, not full on presentations, but from just a simple human interaction. So it's finding out who've got your problems and then going to find where they are, so they know who you are, and having a conversation with them. And that can happen in person. And of course, that can happen online as well, because we have the amazing tools of social media so that we can actually contact and speak to anybody who's done any of those things, apart from X. But then let's not get into that.
Well, I can, the thing that you've just reminded me of, and we'll pick this up with Laura when she joins us in sessions 5 and 6, when we're doing the digital marketing and looking at different strategies that you can use social media in a really effective way. For those of you that don't have yet the confidence to talk to strangers about your business, and I know there's some folk on this call that will find that really tricky for a bunch of reasons. If you're not ready to do that yet, we have this incredible tool called social media. Totally changed the game. And there's a way of doing that on there where you can, we'll tell you a story about a conversation that we had about coffee that led to a £20,000 deal. And it literally started with a conversation about coffee. So, the principles are, you can let go of the idea of sales for a second. Let's just reframe what selling is. It's having a conversation with someone about something that you're passionate about, because you think they might be interested in it too. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, I did a little experiment, which I haven't brought home yet, but that is a sleeping giant waiting to happen. I did a post on my Facebook, which was along the lines of, Are there any other coffee snobs here? I've been thinking of running a secret coffee club. There we go. I knew there was going to be some of you. If you can find the emoji of a coffee cup, folks, if you know how to figure out the reactions button. So click the up arrow at the bottom of your screen, find the coffee emoji. Let's see if anyone can find the coffee cup. Rebecca's found that.
That was quick.
Rebecca, right? Rebecca, you were the first coffee cup, so you win a prize. The prize is, Rebecca, if you're ready for this, you can join the advert carousel on Monday session. So we'll promote your business on the adverts at the start of the session. If you're ready for that stuff, just drop a message saying Simon says from the Q&A session. And if Simon says, then that means it's a thing. If you want to take that opportunity, then you'd be more than welcome. So nice work for the speed of the interaction. That's your prize. We want to start doing more of this, folks. We want to start adding your businesses to our audience so that you get to promote to a bunch of people that are on this course, which will be awesome. And quick side note, so for those of you that remember the session last Monday, where I introduced a few of the Rebel businesses that we've met over the years, and one of them was a lady called Sonia Okabule from Kent. We put Sonia's product in front of one of the biggest food companies in the UK today. So some of her chocolates were in front of the decision makers of a £900 million turnover business, right? And she's making chocolates from her home in Kent. So that's what we're trying to do more of at the Rebel School, is actually take your businesses and promote you. I don't really want to promote us. It gets a bit boring. There's only so many pictures of people in rectangles that you can go, oh, that's interesting. In fact, folks, can you do a salute? Just give us a salute on the screen so we can do a quick, if you've got your camera on, salute on the screen for us so we can take a picture. This is what I've got to do to make the promotion for the Rebel School interesting. Like, but anyone that's doing this right now, I think, what the hell is he doing? Like, literally, he's lost. Thank you, everybody. That's a very good salute. Natalie, I think like you win a prize for that salute. I think that's the most militarily accurate. It's a sentence I wasn't expecting to say. In fact, it's a sentence I can't even say because it's got too many consonants in it. But you know what I mean. So Natalie, same goes to you. If you want to join our advert carousel, email in the info and say Simon says, because that's true, that's a thing. Simon says my salute was really good, so I can promote my business for free on the Rebel Business School carousel. I feel like I've lost control. Katie, let's go to the psychotherapist question, because
where's that one?
It's in the Q&A. It's in the Q&A.
Right. Okay, hang on. I just wanted to say, just before we move on, we're talking about sales. On Monday, I'm going to talk about how you have the actual conversation. You know, I say that thing without being sick in your mouth. And it really is the words that you use when you are selling one-to-one with another human being. And it doesn't feel like selling. It's just, in fact, you don't actually have to say that much.
That's the bit.
There's a spoiler, because it's not about you, it's about them. And if you make it all about them, it feels so much different. And the same for networking. I mean, I know we're going to have a network. Maybe we're not. Halima will shout at me.
We're definitely not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No way.
I avoided networking for most of my adult life because I class myself as an entrepreneur. I was going to say an introvert, and I'm awkward. I'm so awkward, and I don't mind saying it, but I am awkward. And I realized that it wasn't about me. If I make it about them, then it's just easy. If you ask questions, people will talk.
Yeah.
And you learn those questions, and then you're off. So yeah, anyway, I just no,
that was great. And the thought you
I don't know what the word is, but I did that thing then.
I love it. No, the thought I don't know the word either, but the thought you triggered was, it's gone again. What was it? Oh yeah, the thought that you triggered was this whole thing about selling is not telling.
Yes.
And I know you're going to do some more work with everybody on Monday to build those sales muscles. But if I go direct to selling, then there is a risk that I come across like all of those images of salespeople that we had in the chat on Monday, where people are going like sleazy, pushy, people in suits selling me things I don't really want. And actually, folks, 2025 is so far away from that. Customers are much more savvy, and actually, it feels much nicer for me to go and ask a question about coffee to see if anyone else is interested in coffee, from which sales may come, rather than me going to try and sell coffee to people. First, I've just got to start a conversation. That's all it is. That's whether it's B2B
Absolutely. I
or
was
yeah.
networking in my awkward way, and I had a conversation with a guy called Ben who runs just on his own. He's a health and safety consultant, and he was just telling me about health and safety consultancy. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that interested in health and safety consultancy, but he's a really nice chap, and he told me all about it. And today I went for my haircut with Amy, my hairdresser, who's been my hairdresser forever, and
Looks
she's
very
got her
nice.
own business. Yeah, and she started with nothing on a bike, and now she's employing people and she's doing really well. And she was then telling me today that she was really stressed because all the health and safety stuff she's got to get through.
Yeah.
And I just, you know what? I said, shall I get Ben to call you? He's dead nice. Have a chat and see if it fits and see if it's not too expensive. You can afford it. She was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. And now they're going to have a chat. He might get some business. If he doesn't get the business, I'm pretty sure he'll tell Amy what she needs to do if she can do it herself, because I trust Ben. He's not going to take the business if if she doesn't need a professional. So just that's sales. That's sales. That's how it works. It feels lovely to do that. Right, go on. I've gone off that thing again. What are we doing now?
And I'm just thinking about Ben.
Ben, he's a
Ben,
nice
a
guy,
nice
Ben.
health and safety person.
He is. He's got a van and everything.
Okay, so Ben with a van. We've had a lot of health and safety people over the years, and I've got to say that that's not my area of interest or expertise either. But I
No.
really respect those people that can do that role. So I love that you've got him a customer. That's really awesome. Okay, so let's in fact, before we do the psychotherapist question, we'll do that. There's one more that's on our list from the forms, which was about a luxury business. So we've got a bit of idea generation, Katie, if you're up for figuring stuff out on this one. So let's have a look at the luxury business question. How do I find luxury business partners who will potentially introduce me to their customers, who will then ideally recommend me to each other? And once I find them, how do I approach them in a way that showcases my skills and level of service? I'm asking this because I'm just starting out in this sphere, so I don't really have a portfolio to show. I only have 2 or 3 high quality photos so far. So yeah, I really like this question. Got anything front of mind, Katie?
Well, I've written something down here. I'm not sure. Maybe it sounds a bit harsh, but when you're looking for the first part of that question, if I break it down, how do I find luxury business partners who will potentially introduce me? So the first thing that I wrote down to that is what's in it for them. Okay, so if you want to find luxury business partners, you're going to have to be clear what's in it for them. So are you going to help them with their business? How does it enhance their product or service? What do they get, really? How do you complement them? So if you wanted, so for example, I know an interior designer who does lots of those big kind of flash houses, and then all the different trades want to be her best friends. So the flooring guy, the kind of the person that does all the lighting, they all want to be Monica's best friend because she is this amazing interior designer. So they've got to be able to do the work and represent her in a way that enhances her reputation. So when she goes into her clients, when she introduces Chris the electrician or Rob the flooring guy, they've got to be people that she trusts, who are going to enhance her reputation by doing an amazing job with great customer service. So you've got to be really clear about what's in it for this other company that you want to partner. You've got to find those companies first, do the research, find those individuals who've already got the customers that you want to speak to, and then think about how you're going to help their customers, not only help them, but help their customers. And then it's really becoming, so they know who you are. So you might have to get onto social media. There's lots of different tools you can use so they can hear of you. You might want to send them a letter. Do you remember those? Sometimes people still send letters, yeah. You may want to phone them. Still want to phone them. And I work a lot with trades and people in trades. And I was working with somebody who does all the sort of contract curtains the other day for these kind of hotels. And she still goes round to industrial estates and goes to the reception and knocks on the door and buzzes. And in the old days, before, when you were young, Simon, people didn't have Oh, you didn't even ask for that, did you? I put it in anyway. It's not fair. Don't know why I said it. But when you were young, we didn't have anything like that. And people just used to take their comp slips, yeah, and just go to industrial estates and co-working. Well, you'd have co-working spaces, but now you'd have co-working spaces and just go on and speak to people and leave a leaflet, knock on the door, speak to reception. Some of these old school methods, and you're not going into full sales pitch. You're just saying hello. You're making a connection. You're having a chat with somebody. Some of these old school methods are really quite effective. And there's a saying in sales and marketing, which is when everybody else is zig, I think you zag. So it could be the other way around. It could be when everybody else is zag, you zig, but it doesn't matter, does it? But you don't have to do what everybody does. Go on.
Well, I mean, zig or zag. I mean,
Doesn't matter, does
you
it?
do you. No, I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. And you reminded me, we had a business that was doing, I think they called him, I might have made this up, but it seems to fit, pamper hampers. Is that a thing? Have I made that up? That's a thing, isn't it?
Well, I've never heard of it before, but I get it.
If that's not a thing and you're interested in that you should like quickly Google it now. That's actually quite a good, it's a good rhyme, isn't it? Dot likes that. Dot's thinking, yeah, I quite like that pamper hamper. Let's make that a thing. So I think I probably made up the name, but the principle of it is people were putting together this, we had this woman down in West Berkshire. She was putting products together, which were kind of, things like, what do you put in a pamper thing? Like face masks and bubble bath and soaps. And some of the stuff that she was doing was handmade, and she would arrange it. It would look beautiful. She put ribbon around it. And it was designed to be a luxury item. Her pitch, which I think was really, really clever, which plays into this, and hopefully the person that asked this question about partnering with luxury brands, maybe this will trigger an idea for you. She went to a BMW dealership. And she said, wouldn't it be cool if your customers, when they buy a car from you, that there's a hamper, one of these kind of gift baskets that's all about pampering, and they were kind of leaning towards a feminine audience. On the seat of the car, when they pick up the car to drive off their brand new car, here's a gift from us, from the dealership. Now, what she was doing was putting a card in the hamper with a website link on it. I think this was, there might have been a QR code actually, where you get a 15% discount off of your first order, and majoring on the fact that it was a small business too. So you want to support a small business. You're interested in buying this as a gift. Christmas is coming up, Mother's Day, birthdays, treat the women in your family, and you get a 15% discount off your first order. So there was this kind of tie-in where, to Katie's point, I think this is really important. This is not about you saying, I want you to sell my stuff. It's about you saying, how can I enhance your customer experience? How can I add value to your audience? I've got this thing. The price is normally £20 per basket, but if you buy, let's do it as an experiment. Would you be interested in buying them at cost price? Because really all I want to do is I just want to promote my business to your customers, and in a way that would add value to them too. So it's about having that, it's about starting that conversation really. And I think, you can apply that to any luxury brand, whether it's a local high-end restaurant or hotel. Got a fancy hotel just up the road from me. If that was my business, I'd be going, if I had a luxury business, I'd be going straight in there to make friends with the hotel receptionist and say, hey, I don't suppose there's a duty manager's about. I've got this idea. Can I have a quick chat with them? And it's sort of just letting go of the idea that you have to sell every single time. Not every conversation is going to be a sale. In fact, you probably have to have 7, 8, 9, 10 conversations before you'll get that sale. So I think that's the other thing about the process of selling, the collecting of no's. It's not going to be a win every time. In fact, if you go in with it with that mindset, like, this conversation has to be a sale, then you're already setting yourself up for a fall. Just go into the conversation with the mindset of, what can I do to help them? What can I do to add value to them? And, how can I just go make friends and just go have a nice conversation about something that might, I've totally let go of the idea now that every conversation will lead to a sale. And if it does, it's a bonus. And if it doesn't, That's okay. It could be a lucky escape. Like, so that's my thoughts on the luxury brand. Any more to add on that one, Katie?
No, I think I'm on to the next one here, but I think that was good. Yeah, I remember you telling me about the lady with the what did you call it again? with the hamper, pamper
I don't
hamper,
want to say it again.
It sounds like full of like nappies.
I think,
Anyway,
oh, that's a Pampers hamper. That's a
yeah, that's
different
it.
thing.
We're off
Other
the phone
brands
now.
are available. Right. So
Right.
always a lot of comments that are coming in the chat on GPT.
I mean, there's a theme, isn't there, here? It's about talking to people and connecting with people. And it's about human connection and finding a way for all of us to do that in a way that's, when I say uncomfortable, not too uncomfortable for some, as I know it can be a real stretch, but finding a way to move forward and connect with others,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if we're not sure they're the right people. You know, when I talk about your target market, I'm going to be obsessed about target market
Yeah. I
on
love it.
Monday night. But sometimes it doesn't matter. Just have a conversation because you'll learn so much. Once we start having conversations with people, the world opens up. And I say this from a position of a true awkward person, an introvert person, that I have to give myself a little bit of a push.
Yeah. Sometimes you've got,
Yeah, it's not
sometimes it's
dangerous. Yeah.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Sometimes it doesn't go well, you know, but I've survived. Anyway, do you want to move on to this the psychotherapist question? Because I
Can you
like this
do one
question.
thing for me?
Hmm.
Can you explain what a comp slip is?
Yes, sorry, compliment slip. Do you remember that?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the sort of that was a way of saving paper and saving money, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like a
comp
like a
slip.
yeah. Did
So
you
it's
use
like a
cut?
letterhead.
Yeah, a letterhead.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
So
with compliment.
yes, yeah, that with compliments when you send them something in the post. Pre-email, they were very popular.
That would teach you for saying I'm old. Right.
Yeah, it would.
So,
Yeah.
and Mel says that there is such thing as a pamper hamper. She says that is real. Okay, so there's me thinking I might have invented a new thing, but apparently not. Right. So, very good. Let's deal with. Oh, there's one thing. So Gail was saying about leaflets through letterboxes on the Zoom
Hmm.
chat. So, you know, with leaflets through the door, you're going to get a 0.5 to 1.5% return on that.
Hmm.
So for every 100 doors you stick a flyer through, you're going to get between half and 1.5 leads, that not necessarily even sales.
Hmm.
Okay. But you can up those numbers if you're targeted with those flyers and they're tailored for a certain audience and you only put them through. So when you're thinking of a luxury brand, like maybe something through the door of the bigger houses and focus on those postcodes and zip codes that are, people that have got cash because they got a fancy pad. That would be great. And also, let's ask ourselves this question. If you're a luxury customer, is a flyer the right medium for that? Maybe we could buy an envelope and hand write the envelope.
Hmm.
Because actually, if we're only sticking it through 50 doors anyway, that's not going to take long. It'll probably cost the same as doing 1,000 leaflets. Do 50 hand delivered ones in a targeted area. You can increase the percentage return by being more targeted. And the questions and the stuff that Katie will do with us on Monday will help us be even more targeted with our activity so that the action is going like a laser rather than a sawn off shotgun. Right. But let's go into the next question. I'm going to answer with Katie's help. There's an anonymous participant in the Q&A, Katie, right at the top of the list.
Hmm.
And then we'll get Charlotte. We'll get Charlotte on, actually, if Charlotte's up for that. I think Charlotte is. We'll get Charlotte on to answer the question about. Charlotte says, I'm struggling with getting sales and starting to feel I'm out of options. So let's have a conversation with Charlotte and see if we can help her. Just before we do that, let's answer the question from an anonymous participant that says, as a psychotherapist, I'm not allowed to work with friends and family, therefore can't try the sales pitch on them other than to practice. Any other ideas where to start? I got a couple on this one. Have you got anything on this one?
Yeah, I've got a few on this one
Go
too.
on, what you got? Chef, what you got?
Well, so my best friend says, who I nearly started a coffee shop with many years ago, is a psychotherapist. And when she first started, she didn't have any clients. To do her training, she had to do some free sessions. I think there's a certain amount of hours that she had to do to get qualified. And then, I mean, she said, what do I do now? Where do I get other people from? So I asked, We started with the GP. So she went to a local GP and she asked the receptionist. And she went to the GP that she'd been going to for the last 20, 25 years, the local one. So she knew the receptionist because doctors' receptionists have a reputation. But she knows that she knew the woman behind there. So she's explained. And she had some very simple little leaflets that she had done, and she started to leave them there. And when she went to see a GP about something, he mentioned it, and she had a conversation with him about it, and she got recommends from her GP because there's a huge waiting list, and she's a private practice therapist. So that was the first thing that she did. She also told everybody, and we told everybody. So even though she couldn't be my therapist, I've told loads of people about her, who've told loads of people about her, who've told loads of people about her. So even though you might not be having a sales pitch, please tell everybody what you're doing, definitely. And then the other bit that I would be really interested in to get going as a psychotherapist is the niche bit. So are you, and this doesn't mean you're always going to have to only help these people, but it's a way of getting moving, and giving you focus with your, outreach, if you like. And that is, think about those people who need you most right now. So who are the people who need you most? Are they going through something? Has something happened to them that maybe would indicate that therapy would be a good idea? I mean, it's a big generalization, but it could be anything from, say, divorce, relationship breakdown, moving house. I mean, all sorts of things. There's obviously the bereavement bit as well. So where are those people, and what action are they taking, or what clues are they leaving that they are in need of some help? And can you be there? So I would suggest doing talks, community talks about how therapy helps different types of people. Being at, even going to your local Slimming World group, community group, the Stay and Play group, all those things. And you just do a little 5-minute, talk, or even a little, Q&A. What is therapy? How could it help me? Those are the first things that come into mind.
Oh yeah, I love all of that stuff. I think, the only thing that I would add to what you've said is some of your potential clients as a therapist, of course, absolutely, are going to come from, and you still tell your friends and family, hey, just so you know, if there's anyone that you come across that you think might be struggling, send them my way, because I'm taking on new clients right now. I'd still be telling them, actively telling them, what you do. And there's a tactic that I've used, which has actually worked really, really well. For some of the private coaching stuff that I've done, I've had a separate landing page on my website, which is my referral page. So this is only for the friends of friends or friends of family members. When I say to people that I meet and I go, look, I know this isn't for you, but if you know anybody that needs a little bit of extra help, I'm doing free coaching taster sessions. I'll do a full 2-hour session, totally free, no obligation to sign up. If you know anybody that's really struggling at the moment, and let's face it, sadly, the times that we're in, many of us do, and many of us, that's us, right? So, so maybe, and Laura will show us how to do this on session 5. She doesn't know it yet, but we're going to, about adding a page that could be a specific page that you can give that as a link to your friends and family and say, look, hey, anyone that's struggling, send them this link. And then on that page, that there's a landing page, maybe there's this 10-second video that says, hey, you've come here because one of my friends or family members has said hi. Because it's a friend or family member, then the first session is on me. Because, hey, we need to do that in these times. And I'm gifting that to you. So you can give that as a gift for others to gift on your behalf. And then from, you work with 20 clients over a year that have come through that route. My guess would be at least 5 or 6 of them will sign up and become your clients because of that trusted referral route. And let's face it, when we're diving into personal issues, it's important. Trust is an important thing. We've got to feel like, that we're going to be looked after when we're in our most vulnerable moments. So that's the only thing that I would add to that one.
Well said.
Cool. So let's find Charlotte. Is there a Charlotte shooter in the house? Charlotte, please could you raise your hand, or like the digital one or your actual one, so that the Rebel team can find you? I think you're still here. We'd love to get you on to chat a little bit more about your struggles with getting sales and starting to feel that you're out of options. Let's see if we can solve that problem for you with you. Is Charlotte still here? Is there a Charlotte in the house? She is. That's awesome. Let me find you. Oh, there you go. Great. Charlotte's in the house. Hi, Charlotte. We will get you unmuted by doing that. There you go. Got you.
Hi.
How's it going? All right. Give us a little bit more context, Charlotte. Tell us about what you're doing and what activity you've taken to get sales, and let's see if we can figure this out together.
So it's a saving business. So I want to help people manage their money and be able to afford like holidays and everything.
Yep. Okay.
So I've started by designing a few items and taking pictures and using TikTok Shop.
Yep.
And I've had a few sales through TikTok Shop, but it's not consistent. So
Yeah.
I've just really hit rock bottom and struggling basically with what to do now.
Oh, bless you. Well, look, the fact that you've made sales already, that's amazing. If you said that you hadn't sold anything at all, then we've got a different challenge, and that's okay. So when you say, so you want to start a business that helps people saving, but is the products that you're selling related to that, or is that something different?
Yeah, so they're saving trackers.
Oh, okay.
And they're laminated so you can wipe it off and reuse it over and over again. So it's not one that you just cross off and then throw away. You can reuse it.
Okay, great. And tell us about what's the how have you got the sales on TikTok? What's led to that? Is that the videos that you've done of the product, or is it because you've got a bigger following now and then you're selling that product to that following?
I've grown my following, so I'm nearly on 2,000 followers on TikTok.
Nice.
And I just post like hacking videos, behind the scene videos, day in the life videos, and just try and go live as and when I can.
Yeah. Okay. And have you got any other channels, Charlotte, or is it just the TikTok channel?
I've got Instagram as well.
And how are you getting on with that?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know how to use Instagram.
All right, no worries. So you're putting your effort and energy into TikTok. The fact
Yeah.
that you've got 2,000 followers is phenomenal. I think like there's two parts to this conversation. I think there's one part of it which is about digital traffic and about playing the TikTok game in order to, increase the number of views you get and the number of shares. And in fact, you just reminded me, I think there's a bonus session that I think we can do on TikTok. So I'm going to talk to the team about that. We've got a couple of TikTok experts in our network that can perhaps, like, if we can run a masterclass, or even if it's a downloadable piece of content that you can watch that specifically focuses on TikTok, maybe that would help. Guys, please can you type TikTok in the chat, or TikTok, yeah, if you would like to see. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see if you would like some content on that. We can create a specific piece of content. We've got one of the folk in our network has got over 100,000 followers, and they've made money doing the TikTok lives and stuff like that. So we can certainly create a little bit of mischief there. There's quite a few people. Okay, that's good. So that's part of this. How regularly are you posting, Charlotte?
I'm posting at least one, try and do one video a day.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. And in terms of the other stuff that you're doing on TikTok, are you liking and commenting on sharing other people's posts, or are you mostly focused on doing your own content?
No, I do. There's a lady that does Spanish cleaning products, so I always share her lives, and I like lots of people's posts and comment on them.
Great. So I think, like, to me, and we'll get into more detail on this on week 6 when we do the social media stuff, there's a few things that you can do to, if you spent 15, 20 minutes a day on what I'm about to tell you, you can increase the number of followers and the amount of engagement that you get exponentially, but you do have to stay in the game a little bit. So there's a bunch of specific stuff on TikTok about the algorithm that I'm not going to go into now, but we will create some content on it. But the two routes that I want you to think about is route number one is when you think geographically, so which part of the country are you from? Find the TikTok accounts of the businesses and the influencers that live in your area. So you can start to kind of get known locally. That's part of it, because that to me is, why would I bother buying something from someone that lives in Glasgow when there's somebody just down the road from me? So you can use the search engine to find people in your area. And as long as your profile is clear which part of the country you're in, when you connect with them, whereabouts are you roughly, Charlotte?
Kent.
You're in Kent, right? So as long as when I look at your profile, it's clear that you're based in Kent, UK. When you connect with people from Kent, UK, and they'll get a notification, they'll see it says whatever the name of your account is, and they click on it, and it's clear where you are. They're like, oh, because it's that trust thing again. It's like, oh, you're from Kent. They're more likely to follow you than if you didn't have a location on it. So they can see the reason why you're following. So what you're doing is you're building your digital network locally, a little bit like the game of meeting people face to face. You'll just happen to be doing it online. So part one is becoming famous, like well known in Kent. And the way that you do that, follow, like, comment, and share, not just that woman that's doing that stuff, but other Kent accounts. Basically, I'm saying to you, do nice things to promote other businesses in Kent. Do that, and they go, oh, this person's really nice. They keep bigging up my business. I'll follow them, click. So then you can get your followers up from 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000. So that will help you accelerate growth. So that's part one. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this is about geography. People like missed that one. I think that one's actually really powerful. The second part of this is for those that are following other accounts where people are giving money saving tips. So your audience are people that are interested in saving money. Okay. So people that are on a budget, people that are struggling with money, people that need to save money and spend less. There's so many accounts in that space. If you click on their followers, that's a list of potential customers for you. So Katie will talk a little bit more about this next week on the target audience for everybody, but specifically for you, Charlotte, your audience are people in Kent and people who are interested in saving money. And ideally, the overlap is people in Kent that are interested in saving money. That's your audience right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the thing we do? We use the search engine to find them. So we find those accounts of the money saving influencers. We click on their followers and you get a giant list, follow a load of them, like and comment on their stuff. That'll get attention on your page. And you spend 15, 20 minutes a day doing that. That's all you need to do. Plus your video, and you'll watch your channel grow.
Yeah.
Right. Now, in terms of the final bit, and then I'll shut up and let Katie join in. The final bit is the product itself. So what I would say, you've got a couple of options. Is that product the right product? Is that the one that people like? That's part of it. And secondly, if it is or it isn't, you've got an opportunity to sell someone else's product too. And you can take that commission payment. So let's start looking at what are the other products that are helping people save money, that are low cost, that you could earn a commission by selling someone else's product if your product isn't right. Now, question is, do you believe in your product? Do you think it is helping people and it is what they want?
Yeah, I do think it does. And I think it helps that some of the videos I do is of me cash stuff in my own binders that I don't done for myself.
Nice.
So I do believe that they're there. It's just finding the right people.
Yeah, good for you. So I'm hoping that those tips might help you, Charlotte. Can you see how that might work if you were to follow the followers of people that are following, there's the people that are following the money saving accounts. That's your customer list, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. The internet will give you a giant list of customers, follow them, like their posts, comment on their posts, spend 20 minutes a day doing that. That will get attention to your page to complement your video, and let's see your channel grow. What I'd like you to do, Charlotte, would you come back and tell us in a couple of weeks' time what your followers are once you've been able to have a go at that? I'd love to, let's track your, let's track your followers and let's see if it works. Let's do an experiment. You up for that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice work. And you've got a couple of new followers on Instagram by the looks of it, because some people have posted in the chat. So Katie, anything to add for Charlotte?
Hiya, Charlotte. Well, I can't really talk about TikTok. I'm going to be quite clear because I don't really understand TikTok that well. The only thing I normally say is how long have you been on TikTok? To one of my kids. That's the only knowledge I really have about it. So what I would say is, can you bring this offline in any way? What else do you do apart from TikTok? Do you do anything else with it? How much appetite have you got for doing other things as well as online?
Not very.
Okay. All right. Because I think that Simon's identified your audience really well. And I think, you had a feel for that anyway. People in Kent who are interested in saving money. I'm trying to think, where are those people physically? Because I think when we one of the things that, I come from a sort of offline perspective and for being with people perspective, and you get a greater understanding of them and from conversations and hanging out and being where they are. And I'm just wondering, people in your community, so even go down from, rather than just Kent, like people in your area, in your community, in your village, in your town, where are those people hanging out? Is there a credit union? Do you have one of those libraries of everything? There's like where you can borrow stuff. Those kind of community initiatives that are there to help people who may be more challenged and need some help managing their money already. Maybe they'd be interested in selling them on your behalf or having them around on your behalf. So I'm trying to think of, where can you be where your people are, and where can you help them where your people are? At the moment, they're on TikTok and you're helping them virtually. That's all I've got to add, really. But if you haven't got much appetite for that, that's not your thing. I totally get it.
No, definitely, yeah.
Charlotte, thanks very much for jumping on. That's brilliant. I'm sure your question has helped some other folk as well. So great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte. See ya.
Okay. We'll get you on TikTok. You'll be great on TikTok. We need to get you on TikTok.
Top tick.
Okay, so we've worked with Charlotte. That's great. So Theonis says, is it better to rotate product for sale or just add new ones after a sale? So I think we were talking about upselling and cross-selling, and once you've got your customer and they've made the sale, what do we do to keep them coming back? Like, what sort of tactics are in your minds for that? In our minds for that?
Well, when someone's buying from you, at that point, at some level, they know who you are, definitely. There's a good chance they'll like you. And if they're buying from you, they've got some level of trust in you. So this is a golden opportunity to sell them something else. But again, I don't like selling by, begging, persuading, hoping, willing them to buy. I'd just like to learn more about them. So it's a great opportunity when somebody's interested in buying, and maybe you're going through the transaction, or you're wrapping the goods, or you're on the phone with them, is ask them some other questions and get them to tell you a little bit more about what they need and what they're going to use it for, to see if you've got another product or service that you can add on or upsell, but only based on their need, not you trying to convince them that this is right for them, because that's just a highway to... I was going to say highway to hell, but that's the song, isn't it? That's just a highway to hell, so I'll say it. That just is exhausting, trying to convince somebody that they need the gold version or the one where you pay monthly. It's only if it helps them, only if there's a requirement for them, only if it solves a problem for them. So I think at this point, when you have a person buying from you or very interested, you are super curious so that you can fully understand why they need it, and what it's for. And then maybe there is an opportunity. I always tell when I'm doing the Rebel School about buying I bought a laptop a few years ago, and I bought not a Rebel. It was an Apple, not a Rebel, an Apple Air laptop. And I went in to buy it and I was very excited because I thought eventually I'm finally going to be cool and have an Apple laptop. And I was going to buy an Air and I've researched it. And I went into John Lewis to buy it because obviously I go to John Lewis. And the girl in John Lewis was like, yeah, we'll just get you one. And she radioed backstage, back a house, not backstage, back a house to get me one. And then she asked me what I wanted to use it for. And I told her that I wanted to use it to edit videos because it was to share with me and my son. So she said, well, why are you waiting for the one to come out? Let me show you the Pro here and I'll show you what it can really, how quick that is. And in the end, I bought a Pro. I spent an extra 400 quid because it was suited to my need. What I'd gone in there to buy actually wasn't right for me.
Yeah, nice.
So that was an upsell, but it was actually really helpful. So that's how I see it. You're helping at another level.
And we'll get into some more of the detail around upselling and cross-selling. But I think the thing for me from that question is that, like you say, like I'm finding out more about them, but I'm also getting a sense of them too. And, just trying to figure out like, what's the thing that I can do that would really help them? You can ask them questions, you can use your own intuition. And also there'll be some clues in other businesses that sell something similar to you. So what does their other product range look like? What kind of deals are they doing? So you bought one, well, next time you come back, because now you're a customer of mine, you get price off if you buy three, or it's buy two, get one free, or those kind of deals to, there's not really a right or wrong answer, is there? But the principle of serving and adding value to your customers and giving them what they want, that will serve you pretty well, I think. Cool.
Defo, as I would say. Defo.
Right. So that's the honest. Right. What else we got?
We've got Anita.
Yeah, Anita. Right. Anita, do you want to jump on for a conversation, Anita? I know we were just having a quick message to see. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. We would like to see you, but that's okay if you'd rather not at this moment. I get it. If you can raise your hand digitally or physically so that the team can find you. Anita Dougal, or Dougal, I may be pronouncing that incorrect. Is there Anita in the house? Tension. Well, let's just dive into. Oh, we have got her. There we go. Anita, gotcha. Anita, hi, Anita.
Oh, hello there. Hi.
How's it going? So, Anita,
yeah,
I'm going to read out
thanks.
your question for everybody, okay? So we
Okay.
get everyone up to speed. For the people on the YouTube audience, hello, Anita's here. Anita says, I am keen to sell photography and graphic design prints. What would be the best strategy to reach my target audience? Now, Katie will do some work with us on Monday a bit more about this, but give us a sense of who you think is your target audience right now, Anita.
Yes, so it's been hard to sort of niche down or, pick certain people or venues. So I think it's three main ones, like interior designers, homeowners, and like art and cultural venues, like independent cinemas. It could be art centers. And that's where I've kind of stopped, maybe beyond like hotels. Like I know that people that I speak to, they think, oh, what about hotels? And I don't know how to present myself to hotels. It's just, I have to start somewhere, right? So I need to sort of focus on a particular person or venue and then go from there. Then I can move on up.
Yeah, I love that, Anita. Like your thought processes are all in the right direction. And I think it is a bit tricky. Like some businesses are really, really obvious. Like my gardening story from last week of someone going, okay, there's a lot of older people that live in my community. I bet they'd like a female gardener. Job done, like niche sorted, tick. But other businesses can be a little bit more obscure. So trying to figure out like who your target audience is and how you reach them is tricky. You're on the right tracks and your ideas as sound, and we can definitely help you figure out what to say and to whom if you're going to go to a cafe or a bar or a gallery or some other public space, fancy restaurant or whatever. We can help you figure out, and we'll do that in a sec. Before I go off on one. Katie, like, I know as someone who has more graphic design and prints in your room than me, I have one.
Well, that's what I noticed.
I think that you're more qualified to answer this question. So please, what's on your mind, Katie?
Well, my first thing was who do you think? And you've mentioned interior designers. So I would go for one at the moment.
Okay.
Because you have to start somewhere. So I think, okay, so if I'm going to go for interior designers, go for the ones that are closest. That's not over. You don't have to get really technical about it.
Yeah, sure.
So
Okay.
I would look for the ones in your area. So maybe get on Instagram and look for the local influencers who are doing all those, showing pictures of their homes and talking about different things, and find if they'll maybe have the name of your area, and they'll be the local influencers who are into interior design, and they'll have followers. And not all of them will be local, but a lot of them will be local. And then it's literally what Simon said before. I would follow all the people that follow the interior designer, because they are people who are into interiors. I would then also start to post a lot. I'm sure you do this already, or if you don't, then posting pictures of what you do. I think Instagram is probably the best medium for that. And then I would offer to maybe collaborate with the interior designer. So we did this with our pots. I go on about our hot pots, which was our lockdown kind of, I'd say, experiment, because we didn't know what else to do with ourselves. And we did this. We got some local interior designers, and we sent some. Well, I didn't send them. I drove around and left them at their house outside. We know you weren't allowed to go in, and they put it on their feed, and they'd talk about it, and they'd take pictures of their rooms, and they'd have our pots in there, and they'd tag us. And we got sales through that as well. Really simple. We went around to hairdressers and said, do you want a plant pot? And we gave a few away.
Okay.
And we had our stickers on them. So I think if you really focus on one, which would be interior designs, I'd just go for that, first of all, and get your local ones, and then approach them in the DMs and send them a DM and tell them what you're doing. The other thing is about niching is, we'll do this on Monday, but one of the things to find a niche is to find the facts, the features of what you do. So, and that could be about where you're from, what's influenced you, the style of your photography or designs, any facts about it, what they're made out of, what process you use. And then you work out who would be interested in that. Is there a benefit for somebody for that? If they're of a certain type of thing, or if they're made in a certain way. And working out those benefits are the way that we can find our niche, who's most likely to be interested in or, excited by those benefits. Where does it meet a need? So if I was looking for a Mancunian artist, for example, because I like Mancunian things, then that would be the fact that somebody was born in North Manchester would really interest me, because that's where I'm born. So I'm interested in what they've got. So I just think looking about some of the things, the facts about you, where you studied, if you've studied, if you've not studied, it doesn't matter, but it's those things. And then you turn those into benefits, and why would people be interested, and how does that meet a need for them? And that might give you a steer. But I do think interior designers is a great place to start.
Okay, but I'm just thinking, what does that look like? I can follow people on Instagram.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So start posting your stuff. Follow the people, find the local interior designers who are on Instagram. And where are you from, Anita? Where do you live?
I'm in West London.
Oh, well, there's plenty of there. Plenty of them. So I would look for them, and then start to comment and like their stuff. I would follow the people that follow them. Maybe you can't be all of them, but maybe just do the top 100 for each one, and then see who's posting, see what comes up in your feed from those people. Again, like their stuff. Be relevant to them, so they might have a quick look at what you're posting. Make it easy for people to buy from Instagram from you, so a link to your website. And then I would approach those influencers love a freebie, really love a freebie. So I would I look at that, and also putting your stuff in we have lots of independent cafes where I live, and there's always an exhibition in all of them, and I don't think they pay. It's just to get wall space, and it decorates the cafe, and they've always got a price on them. So there's also that route as well, and I don't think there's any harm in that.
Okay. Yeah,
I've got a few ideas for you, Anita, to build on Katie.
Yeah,
Are you up for a couple more ideas, Anita? Is
Yeah,
your brain
sure.
ready to melt?
Yeah.
Right, question. Have
Yeah.
you got a phone?
Do I have what? I have my phone on me, yeah.
I'm not going to make you ring them now. Don't worry. We'll save that for Monday. So the question that you asked was what does that look like? So to me, here's a couple of options for you. What would stop you calling 3 interior designers from West London tomorrow, ringing them and saying, "Hi, my name's Anita. Bit of a random question. I'm a photographer and I've got graphic design prints. Do you collaborate with local artists for your work? Would you be up for a conversation? Can I send you my Instagram page? I don't really know how it works. I've never done it before. Would you be up for helping me figure it out?" So it's like a soft sell. It's not you saying, "I want you to use my stuff." It's you saying, "Hey, can you help me figure out how this works? Because I've never done it before, but I saw your page. I follow you on Instagram and I really like some of your designs. And I think that my work might complement." So it's not like you're going to any interior designer. You're picking the ones that have got the same sort of look and feel, and just give them a ring and ask a question.
It sounds so easy, doesn't it?
Is it? Have I scared you? Do you like, no, I can't do that? Like,
it hasn't scared me. I guess it sounds so easy, doesn't it? But it's
yeah,
just a case of
and
doing
that's
it.
it. We just let go of the outcome. They might not answer. You go, well, what if they answer? They might not answer. They might put the phone down. Like I tell you what, I did a similar thing the other day. I was trying to solve a problem for one of our clients, and I was sort of trying to think. They needed a space to run this meeting that I was running today, and we couldn't find a place where it needed to be. So I was thinking sideways. So I rang this PR agency. I thought, PR agencies, they'll know where the fancy spaces are. So I rang this PR agency. But it started off actually with that one. It was a WhatsApp message. I didn't expect her to answer. I dropped a WhatsApp message and I thought, I'll just ring her. And then she didn't pick up. So I left a voice note, and the phone number was on the website. I left a voice note on WhatsApp and said, "Look, bit of a weird one. Looking for a space. You're in PR, and that's what PR people know. They know things. Would love your insight on the best venues locally. But if you're busy, I totally get it." So it was just a really soft message, and let go of the outcome. Who knows? And let's just see what happens from it. And pick 3 or 5 or 2 or 1 or whatever feels confident to you. If you find yourself on a roll, do 10.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah, I mean I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to contact the local Chamber of Commerce first and see if they know any that are members, because I am a member of my local chamber. However,
Nice.
I don't meet many interior designers, but yeah, I'm sure they have a few. But I will definitely call them and say if they have any contact details, and at least they sort of know me because I'm also a member, and it builds a bit more trust.
Get that membership creating some sales for you. Okay, so I think that's a brilliant idea. And to build on that, you remember what Katie was saying earlier about when we're going to find, like it was the luxury brand example. Don't go to another luxury brand to see what you can get from them. You go to see what you can give. And I think here's an option for you with regards to the, when you think of hotels or restaurants where the vibe reflects your work, and also the Chamber of Commerce. What if you offered one of your prints as a competition prize that lets them go out to their members? You're bringing them value. I got this idea of running a competition, and we can offer a free print of one of my most fabulous bits. Like you pick one that's one of your best ones, and it's a value of £150 or whatever it is. Yeah. I would like to gift that to members of the Chamber of Commerce because I'm a member too. Have you done that before? How could we make that happen? Because then what you're doing is they can go out to several hundred people in one email and one social media post. It would take you a long time to reach 100 people. And who knows where that goes? You see what I mean?
Yeah, so definitely.
If you're prepared to do that, it's your costs of however much it costs you to print the thing. That's all it is. And that's like your marketing spend, and maybe it's like 20, 30 pounds to produce the thing maximum. And there you go, you invest that 30 pounds to get your work in front of several hundred people. There's a restaurant version of that, a cafe version of that, a Chamber of Commerce version of that. I kind of like that. There's something in that, I think. But you don't have to have it all figured out to make the call. Just ring them. And in fact, without involvement, there's no commitment. If you can find ways of co-creating the solution with these people, rather than you don't have to go in there and pitch. It's not like a business pitch. It's like, hey, look, I had this idea. I just want to run it by you. I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but here's what I was thinking. How could we make that work? That's all the call needs to be.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that I've got good rapport with them, so I can sort of
Nice.
start,
Nice.
Let
us know what happens.
doing
Really,
more.
Let us know what
Okay.
happens.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got one more for you, which was home staging. This is a thing that I've only learned about recently. Have you heard of home staging or house staging?
It's funny, I've just heard about it a couple of days ago. I was
Yeah.
talking to someone that rents out properties, and we're talking about possibly collaborating. But yes, he mentioned home staging.
It's a thing. And there was a business in Hampshire that won an award down in the south for their home staging business. I had to Google it. I'm like, what the hell is that? What the hell is even that? So maybe that's an alternative route for you as well. And folks that are watching on YouTube, if you've got any ideas for Anita, please post them in the comments. This is a brilliant question. Anita, have you got a direction of travel with that now? Do you know where you're headed?
Yes, I got to speak to the Chamber of Commerce first, because I'm going to work with my initial sort of bubble, and then I'll start, contacting interior designers on Instagram.
Yeah, cool. Let us know what they say.
Okay, thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you for all the
awesome.
comments on the chat as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Everyone.
Lots of ideas in there
Thank
for you
you.
as well. Please, can someone answer the question on behalf of Dot for the home staging thing? Because I'll do a terrible job of explaining it. Anyone on YouTube know what home staging is? This is like, I thought I knew a lot about businesses, but apparently not. I know nothing. I think it was interior design, not my thing. Cool. And by the way, Anita, post a link to your pages in the chat if you're up for it, and we can read that out for the YouTube audience as well. Maybe we can get you some traffic, and some folk here might like your work. Very good. Okay, so folks, like, I can't believe the time. It's going really fast. We've got a question from Wesley about, let's see if we can deal with this one quickly. Wesley says, after Monday night session, I'm eager to pick up the phone and start my selling journey. However, my product is music related. So I'm wondering, how could that work over the phone before the person has heard it? A little more detail. I create bass guitar recordings for bands and music producers who then take those recordings and incorporate them into their tracks. These recordings are pre-recorded, available to buy on my website. I have many already recorded and plan to release them weekly. A shortened version, as well as the entire recording, is available to preview on my site. I can create discount codes. I also have a how-to video, which I'll add at the checkout. Okay, great. So it sounds to me, Wesley, like this is your audience here is more likely to be those kind of hobbyist producers, people that are doing their own tracks, I think. And I sort of, the work that we'll do with Katie on Monday about identifying your target audience and getting forensic on that for those that are at that point, I think that bit will really help you. But let's just say I'm right for a moment. If I'm right, the people that are more likely to buy your tracks are the people that are using products like GarageBand at home, or maybe they've got a version of Pro Tools, but they're not professional producers necessarily, but they could be. But perhaps they're the more kind of one person business rather than an established studio that would already have links with musicians and already have giant, like, it seems to me, like a friend of mine is making his own music right now. I think that he would be the kind of person that really would value that, because it will save him some time and it will help him boost his quality of his recordings. So how do we do that? Well, you need to find the hobbyists. You need to find the less experienced music producers. Well, how do you do that? Well, you go to the TikTok or the Instagram, whichever your weapon of choice is, go to the accounts where people are posting how-to information for producers, the ones that are doing their, how do you do this? How do you reverse a track? How do you boost the quality of your sound? Which mics should you use? The websites, the social media accounts that are teaching producers to become better producers, their followers are your customers. Okay, so again, when we talk to Laura on week 6, when we're doing the digital marketing bit, we'll be demonstrating ways that you can use the search engine, borrow the followers of businesses that have already got your audience, and you interact with them. You find them, you follow, you like, you comment, you share, and then you add those little clips that you've got on your website, do little snippets and stick them on your social media. I think that would be my short version of how you can. I know you said you wanted to pick up the phone, but to me, there's a social media element to this. Okay. Because if you're going to pick up, I love that you're going to pick up the phone. So let's think, like, if you're going to pick up the phone, here's what I would do. Let's follow Katie's advice. Let's find the musicians and the producers that are already in your network that you've met over the years, the ones that already follow you on Facebook, the ones that already follow you on Instagram or wherever you are. Those are the people to start with to pick up the phone, because we're not in a cold call. This is not about cold calling with your kind of business yet. You know, I would start with the people that might already have heard of you, and you can ring them and you go, hey, I followed you on Instagram for a while. I see that you're doing record producing, music producing. I use these bass tracks. Like, what do you do for your bass? How do you get good quality bass? Well, that's what I do. Is there anything I can do to help you? Look, I got some samples on my website. Can I drop you a link? Is that okay? So start with the people that are you've already got some connection with. So that's how you pick up the phone. People already in your network, people that you've been following for a while that have got their phone number posted on their website. Those are the people to start with, pick up the phone. And it's like hey, remember me? Or, hey, I follow you on Instagram. I wanted to ring you and let you know that I'm doing this thing, but how do you do your bass? I'm really curious. It's like, it's sort of dialing back the direct sell. It's just like, let's build relationship first. Let's find out how you can help them first before you try and sell them your thing. That's my sort of approach for that one. Anything to add on that, Katie?
I'm just thinking offline, where you would go, where I would go if I was your sales manager. I'd go to recording studios, but I suppose if you're thinking about hobbyists, but there are the hobbyist ones. I mean, I know
rehearsal studios, maybe
rehearsal studios. I would go and talk to people there, put a leaflet on the wall. You know, I would go. There's a big music shop with all the guitars where I take my daughter and just goes and plays guitars, and we chat to the people that work there because they want to chat about music and about different guitars. There's a workshop there where they mend stuff, so I'd be getting in there. I'd be chatting to them, making friends with them. Nice. Just finding out those networks of people who are producing music.
Nice. Love it. Folks, I think we've run out of time, but what I have noticed is Carla Del Castillo and Mel Fassier. What I've done is I've harvested your questions, which is a fancy way of saying I've copied it and I've pasted it into the sheet. So we will answer your questions next Thursday. It might be that I get to answer them in the Facebook group, the support group, before then. So if you haven't joined our support group, Rebel Business Support, stick it in the search engine and join us if you're watching on YouTube. Folks, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And for all of you Zoomers, I think it's bedtime, isn't it? Haven't you got homes to go to? Wait a minute. We already are.
We are at home.
Okay, so look, it's been a pleasure, folks. It's been some really cool questions, and I'll stick the award-winning company in the Facebook group for the one from Hampshire for Inma, that's us too, as the home staging company. I'll Google that sucker in a minute. Katie, any closing thoughts from you?
I think that sales is the way to get your business moving. It's the bit that always comes up in every course we ever run, in every conversation I ever have, really, with every startup business. This business is not going to come and knock at the door. The only way this is going to happen is if you make it happen. And there's a reality to that. And it feels a little scary for some of us, but everybody has the skills they need. We just need to get moving. And I've got more stuff on Monday about that and breaking it right down into small steps. So I'm looking forward to that.
I love it. Folks, I've got one ask for you, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Zoom. Please, can you fill out the feedback forms that we send out? Because that will really help us with our sales. So your feedback helps us to keep this program free, because we can go back to the sponsors and say, hey, look at all these people that turn up, and this is what their experience was. So whenever you see a feedback form, whether it's when the Zoom closes or when it's in an email that you get sent from one of the team, please, can you complete that form? Because every single person that comes to a Rebel Business School, two things. Number one is we want to know how we can get better and support you in a much more powerful way so that we can keep improving our courses and our service. And secondly, for every person that comes to a Rebel Business School course and experiences our content who doesn't fill out a feedback form, guys, a fairy dies, right? So let's save the fairies, and please can you give us our feedback? Please can you stick a love heart emoji in the chat and give your love to everybody that's asked the question, because it takes quite a lot of courage, doesn't it? It takes quite a lot of courage to put yourself out there. And, you know, and Charlotte came on camera and Anita came on live. It's tough, guys, you know, so big up to you guys, and you rock. See you on Monday night for the next session. And in the next session, it's all about sales again, but you're going to get deeper insights. We're going to build your sales muscles, and Katie is going to take us on a little sales journey that will help us be even more successful, and we'll know what to do. And this is all about confidence, folks. So to get your sales confidence up with us Monday night. See you at 8 p.m. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Simon.
Katie, you rock.
Oh, shucks. So do you.
I like your new hair as well.
Thank you.
Right. See you Monday.
See you later. Bye.